Hello, this is Man-Made Mead, back with another mead video. I'm continuing the monthly mead series. Last month I started the September monthly mead, which was a mango flavored mead. I'm about to rack that one pretty soon for the first time, which is nice. This is the October monthly mead. So since it's October, pumpkins are big right now. I want to try a pumpkin mead. I found some recipes and I think I'm going to give it a try. I'll be using this canned pumpkin as I go, and then also the Lavlin 71B yeast. I think this is a good yeast to use. And as far as spices that I'll end up using, I'll have some vanilla extract, some ground ginger, and then a few cinnamon sticks. Now the difference with this one is I've read online, like I said, with some recipes, some people say they've had some good success with putting the pumpkin in primary fermentation, and then a lot of people have said that it's been a little bit harder. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start just using the honey and the water, let that go through the fermentation process, and then when I rack it for the first time, I'm going to rack it into the pumpkin. So the honey I will be using today is what I had left from my other monthly mead. This is about 6 pounds of Desert Creek honey from Texas. This honey, I think it'll do really well. I've read, like I said, some people really like orange blossom honey. There's just a lot of different options, and like I'm wanting to try, this is just a trial and error process. So if it comes out bad, I mean, that's just a learning process. By next year, I'll learn some more. So hopefully this one goes easy, and I hope you enjoy this process. And let's get started. Alright, so the first thing I have to do is get my water started. It's going to get up to about 105 degrees for the yeast, and then I'll go ahead and start that so that can set for about 20 to 30 minutes and activate the yeast fully. What I'm going to do in the meantime, while this is heating up, is I'm going to go ahead and start mixing water and honey. And I like mixing in a 1 gallon jug just because it's easier to stir it all up. I'm not going to heat up the water. A lot of people will heat up the water and mix the honey in, and I think that works. I just don't choose to do that. Like everything we do with mead making is a choice. So let's get started with mixing honey and water. Okay, so the water finished heating pretty fast. It's at 105 degrees. I'm gonna go ahead and start the yeast. So we're gonna put some water, some of this hot water, into this bowl. All right. We're going to keep the rest of this water and put it in later. Now we're going to take our yeast and something to stir with and add it in. This will allow the yeast to get fully activated. If you don't let them activate long enough, then the process is a little more difficult and longer. So this starting stage is super important. Okay, and I will mention this, all of the things I'm using have been sanitized previously. I want to make sure to do that every time so no wild yeast or bacteria gets inside. So these are all ready to go. Make sure you sanitize everything you use before you start. All right, so we have mixed 2 gallons of purified water as well as 6 pounds of this Desert Creek honey all together to leave about this. We are almost done with our yeast. We just have to mix it a little bit, and then in a few minutes we will start to add it in. And really, that's all we have to do. There's not a lot left to do after that, because the next process will require this, adding this in the secondary fermentation. Okay, so I have pitched the yeast in. Now I'm going to take my mix. This is a mix of the yeast nutrient and the yeast energizer. Since this is a 2 gallon batch, I have done 2 teaspoons of the yeast energizer, yeast nutrient, and then 1 teaspoon of the yeast energizer. So, and then mix it together, and I have a little, kind of like a schedule. I'm going to do a staggered nutrient schedule, so I will now add 1 teaspoon of this, since I have 3 installments, into there. One other thing we can do right now, while it's in this stage, we have to do it in this beginning stage, is take a hydrometer reading. So what I'm going to do is just stick this in, and then it'll float, and wherever it lands, wherever it stops floating at, I can figure out what the gravity will be. So let's see what the gravity will be. So I had to tilt it a little bit to where I could actually go all the way and not touch the bottom. It landed on about 1.1 for gravity, which means, if I look at a little chart here, with 1.1 as our gravity, we have a approximate ABV of 14.3. So I am curious to see if it'll get to that. It might even raise up a little bit more when we put the pumpkin in. The gravity might change, but regardless, I think it'll be great. So. Okay, so that's the end of the October monthly mead. It is all ready to sit in primary fermentation for about a month, or really until the fermentation stops for a little bit, and then I will add into it our pumpkin pie mix and these spices. So this mead's a little different. Like the mango mead, I was able to start it right, everything right in the beginning. And just learning through this process, some things work out better in the beginning, others don't. So as I'm going along, you're seeing that I'm learning quite a bit about this. So is this perfect? I don't know, we'll find out. But I think this will be very good regardless. So thank you for watching, and I hope you will continue to follow along with the monthly mead series as well as any other meads I'm making. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.